When God is about to bring something big into your life, one of the first signs you experience is what many people call divine disruption. It's that moment when life suddenly stops going the way you expected. Things you once relied on begin to shift. People you thought would stay forever begin to drift away. Routines that felt comfortable no longer feel right. You might wake up one day and realize that something around you is changing, even though you can't fully explain why. At first, this can feel confusing, even painful. But deep down, there's something in your spirit that whispers, this is not the end. Something is being prepared. Divine disruption isn't random. It's God removing what no longer aligns with where He's taking you. Sometimes, the blessing God is preparing requires space, emotional space, mental space, spiritual space. If your life is cluttered with the wrong people, the wrong habits, or the wrong expectations, the blessing will not fit. So God begins to reorganize your path. It often starts with doors closing. Opportunities that once felt promising suddenly fall apart. Connections you were sure would lead somewhere just dissolve. Plans you were confident about begin to crumble. It may feel like you're losing, but in reality, you're being redirected. Many people misunderstand this moment because the disruption doesn't look like preparation, it looks like loss. But whenever God is moving something out of your life, He's making space for something far greater. Think about a gardener pruning a tree. To the outside eye, it might look harsh. Branches are cut, leaves fall, and the tree looks smaller. But the pruning is essential. Without it, the tree cannot grow properly. The cutting is not destruction, it's preparation for greater fruit. In the same way, divine disruption clears away anything that cannot support the weight of the blessing God is about to give you. During this time, you may feel a sense of discomfort. You might sense that you've outgrown certain environments, but you don't know where to go next. Certain conversations no longer interest you. Certain habits no longer feel satisfying. You start to feel disconnected from things that once brought you comfort. This is not a sign of something going wrong, it's a sign of transformation. God is stretching your spirit to match the size of the blessing ahead. He's preparing your heart to handle the responsibility, the influence, or the opportunity He is about to deliver. Another part of divine disruption is separation. Sometimes God removes you from places where you were too comfortable. Comfort can be the enemy of growth. When you stay in the same environment for too long, you stop expecting more, dreaming bigger, or believing you can change. So God shakes the foundation a little. He removes you from situations that limited your calling. This may mean losing friendships that kept you tied to your past. It may mean leaving a job that drained you spiritually or emotionally. It may even mean facing situations that force you to let go of old versions of yourself. God cannot move you into your future while you're still holding tightly to your past. What makes divine disruption even more powerful is that it often comes right before breakthrough. You might not realize it while you're in the middle of it, but disruptions are often spiritual signals that new elevation is close. God doesn't disturb what He isn't planning to transform. He doesn't remove what He isn't planning to replace. He doesn't close a door unless there is another one opening, one you may not see yet, but one that is already prepared for you. So if you are experiencing unexpected change, sudden shifts, or the removal of things or people you didn't expect to lose, don't panic. Don't assume God is punishing you. Don't assume your life is falling apart. Look deeper. Pay attention. This may be God clearing your path. This may be God making room. This may be God saying, get ready. What's coming is bigger than what you lost. When God is preparing to bring something significant into your life, one of the clearest signs you will notice is a shift happening inside of you long before anything changes on the outside. Your spirit becomes more sensitive, more awake, and more aware of things you didn't pay much attention to before. It's as if something deep within you is being stirred, quietly reminding you that you are entering a new spiritual season. You might not know what God is about to do, but you can feel that something is coming. This inner restlessness doesn't feel like anxiety or fear, it feels like anticipation, almost like your soul is standing on its tiptoes, waiting for direction. During this time, your intuition becomes sharper. You start noticing things that once blended into the background. You're more aware of how people speak to you, how situations unfold, and even how your own choices make you feel. The Holy Spirit begins to highlight things you used to overlook. You may suddenly feel uneasy about certain habits or environments that once felt harmless. You might feel drawn to spend more time in prayer, reading, or reflection. Your mind begins asking bigger questions. What's next for me? What is God trying to show me? Why do I feel different lately? These questions are not random, your spirit is aligning with the direction God is leading you. You may also feel an internal tugging, like you're being pulled away from the ordinary. The things that once satisfied you might start to feel empty. The routines that once felt comfortable might feel too small. It's not that anything is wrong with your life, but there's a growing sense that you're meant for more. That restlessness is not a sign of dissatisfaction, it's a sign of preparation. God is whispering to your heart that a new chapter is on the horizon, and He's getting your spirit ready before He changes your surroundings. Another powerful part of this spiritual awakening is clarity. You might start to understand things more deeply, even without trying. Situations that confused you suddenly make sense. You begin to see the purpose behind certain past experiences. You may start noticing patterns in your life, moments where God protected you, moments where He redirected you, moments where He saved you from doors you thought you wanted. This season heightens your awareness, almost like God is helping you connect the dots so you can trust Him more easily with what's coming next. This inner sensitivity also changes the way you respond to others. You may find yourself withdrawing from unnecessary conflict, gossip, or negativity. You may feel more protective over your peace, your time, and your energy. People might not understand this shift. They may say you're acting different, distant, or quieter. But the truth is that God is tuning your spirit to hear Him more clearly. When God is preparing you for something big, He reduces the noise around you so that His voice stands out. You begin craving deeper conversations, deeper purpose, and deeper direction. Even your prayers may start to change. Instead of praying for what you want, you begin praying for guidance, alignment, and clarity. Instead of asking for quick answers, you find yourself asking God to prepare your heart. Instead of seeking approval from people, you begin seeking confirmation from God. This is spiritual maturity developing inside you, and it's a clear sign that God is getting ready to reveal something meaningful. There's also a shift in your emotional world. You may feel more sensitive, not in a fragile way, but in a spiritually alert way. Your emotions respond more deeply to messages of hope, encouragement, or faith. You may find yourself feeling grateful more often, even for small moments. You may feel more reflective, thinking about life in a way that connects you to your purpose. This emotional sensitivity isn't a burden, it's evidence that God is softening your heart, strengthening your faith, and preparing you to handle the blessing with wisdom. And perhaps the most powerful part of this entire experience is the sense of peace that comes with it. Even though you might not know exactly what God is doing, there's a quiet assurance inside you that something good is on the way. That peace doesn't come from circumstances, it comes from God. It's a peace that reminds you that you're not walking blindly, you're being guided. You're not guessing, you're being prepared. You're not lost, you're being positioned. So when you feel spiritually awake, restless in your spirit, or unusually reflective, pay attention. These are not random moods or emotional shifts, they are signs. Your spirit feels the blessing coming long before your eyes see it. God is preparing you internally so that when the opportunity arrives, you'll be ready, steady, and spiritually aligned to receive something bigger than anything you've imagined. When God is getting ready to play something big in your life, one of the signs you'll almost always experience is a period of testing, moments that stretch your patience, challenge your faith, and push you into a deeper level of trust. This testing season isn't meant to break you, it's meant to build you. It's the part of your journey where God strengthens the foundation of your character so that you can carry what He's preparing to give you. Because a big blessing requires a strong, steady, and mature spirit. And before God elevates you, He makes sure you're ready for the weight of where He's taking you. These tests often show up in the form of delays. You might feel like you're waiting longer than everyone else. You pray, you believe, and you do everything right, yet the answers don't show up as quickly as you hoped. It's easy to get frustrated in these moments, but what's really happening is spiritual conditioning. God is teaching you endurance. He's teaching you to be faithful even when the timeline doesn't match your expectations. Delays are not denials, they are part of the preparation. They shape your ability to remain steady when the blessing arrives, so you don't fall apart under pressure. Then there are challenges, unexpected obstacles that make the journey harder. Things that once felt simple suddenly become complicated. People who supported you may shift their attitude. Plans you were confident about may slow down or fall through. It's in these moments that your resilience is tested. It's easy to have faith when everything is going well, but it's in the storm that your true strength is revealed. God uses these challenges not to punish you, but to refine you. Just like gold is purified through fire, your purpose is strengthened through adversity. This season can also bring emotional and spiritual stretching. You may feel moments of self-doubt, wondering if you're truly capable of what you're praying for. You may feel drained, discouraged, or overwhelmed at times, thinking the blessing is too far out of reach. But even these feelings play a role. They push you to rely on God more deeply, to lean on Him instead of your own understanding, and to trust His process even when you can't see the outcome. When everything feels unstable, God becomes your stability. When everything feels uncertain, God becomes your anchor. That's how faith grows, through the stretching, through the discomfort, through the moments where you choose to believe even when nothing makes sense. In this testing period, God is also evaluating your consistency. Are you able to stay disciplined even when progress is slow? Are you able to keep praying even when you feel unheard? Are you able to stay kind, humble, and grounded even when life feels unfair? The way you respond in this season reveals your readiness for elevation. Sometimes God isn't waiting to bless you, He's waiting for you to grow into the version of yourself that can handle the blessing responsibly. That growth often happens in silence, in patience, and in moments where no one sees you but God. You may also notice that certain things become harder right before the breakthrough. This happens because spiritual opposition increases when you're close to receiving something significant. The enemy wants to discourage you right before you reach the finish line. He wants you to quit, give up, or lower your expectations. Many people stop just inches away from what God has been preparing for them because the pressure becomes intense. But pressure is often the final sign that the blessing is near. When the test gets harder, it's usually because you're entering the last stretch of preparation. And while these tests feel challenging, they also come with subtle reminders of God's presence. You'll have moments of peace in the middle of chaos, moments of clarity when you're confused, moments where you feel guided even when you don't know the next step. These small moments of reassurance are God saying, "I'm still here. Keep going. You're closer than you think." So if you're in a season where life feels heavy, where things aren't moving as fast as you hoped, or where you're facing obstacles that don't make sense, don't lose heart. You're not being abandoned, you're being prepared. God is building the strength you'll need for the blessing He's about to place in your hands. Stay patient. Stay faithful. Stay focused. The test is not meant to stop you, it's meant to transform you into the person who can fully receive and sustain the big blessing that's on the way. When God is preparing to release something big into your life, one of the most encouraging signs you'll experience is the appearance of unexpected favor. These moments don't always show up dramatically, sometimes they arrive quietly, softly, in ways that gently remind you that God is shifting things in your favor. It might be something small at first, a conversation that leads to clarity, an opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere, or a moment where something finally works out after being stuck for so long. These aren't coincidences. They're divine hints that God is opening doors you couldn't open on your own. You may begin to notice that certain opportunities align more smoothly than before. Things that once required a lot of effort suddenly flow with ease. You might meet someone who provides insight, support, or encouragement at just the right moment. A closed door may be replaced by one that feels perfectly timed. This is God showing you that He has already gone ahead of you to make a way. When a blessing is close, God often aligns circumstances so perfectly that you can feel His hand guiding every step. During this time, you may also experience doors opening that you didn't even knock on. Maybe someone mentions your name in a room you've never entered. Maybe a chance encounter leads to something meaningful. Maybe the thing you've been praying for starts to take shape in an unexpected way. These moments serve as confirmation that God is orchestrating something behind the scenes. They remind you that the blessing isn't dependent on your effort alone, it's dependent on His timing, His plan, and His supernatural favor. Another sign you'll notice is clarity. Suddenly, decisions that once confused you become easier. Choices that felt overwhelming begin to make sense. You may feel guided toward certain paths and away from others, almost instinctively. God brings understanding into your heart, helping you see what aligns with your purpose and what doesn't. Even if things aren't fully revealed yet, the direction becomes clearer step by step. And in this process, you realize that God isn't just giving you a blessing, He's guiding you into it with wisdom and confidence. As you move closer to what God has prepared, situations that were stuck or stagnant may start to shift. A breakthrough might come in an area where you've been praying the longest. A burden may lift in a way you didn't expect. Relationships may be restored, opportunities revived, or new paths revealed. These moments reassure you that God hasn't forgotten you. In fact, He has been working all along, aligning every detail at the right time. There's also a sense of peace that accompanies these open doors. Even if the blessing requires change or stepping out of your comfort zone, there is a deep sense of calm that tells you this path is right. You feel supported, encouraged, and strengthened. The fear that once held you back begins to fade. This peace isn't something you create, it's something God places inside you when He's preparing you to walk into something greater. Unexpected favor often brings confirmation through people as well. You may hear words of encouragement that feel too perfectly timed to be random. Someone may speak something that aligns exactly with what you've been praying about. You might receive support, understanding, or guidance from unexpected places. It's God using people as vessels to reassure you that you're on the right track. These confirmations help quiet your doubts and strengthen your confidence in His plan. And perhaps one of the clearest signs that something big is near is when everything starts connecting. Suddenly, the struggles of your past make sense. The delays feel purposeful. The redirections become clearer. You begin to see how each challenge prepared you, how every pruning season shaped you, and how each moment of waiting strengthened your foundation. The puzzle pieces begin to fit together, revealing a picture you couldn't see before. As these doors open and favor begins to unfold, you realize that God's timing is always perfect. You see that nothing was wasted, every lesson, every setback, every breakthrough led you to this moment. And even though the journey wasn't easy, you now understand why it had to happen the way it did. So when you start seeing unexpected favor, when opportunities arise effortlessly, when clarity replaces confusion, when peace begins to guide your steps, pay attention. These are signs that God is not just preparing you, but positioning you. The blessing you've been waiting for is closer than ever. God is opening the way, arranging the details, and leading you towards something bigger, stronger, and more meaningful than anything you've experienced before.